Bobby Portis Jr., 2013 Arkansas Mr. Basketball, is loved by his championship team and fans.
Bobby! 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 Bobby!
When you hear the crowd roaring, "Bobby, Bobby," at Fiserv Forum, you know something special is happening. It's not just a chant, it's a battle cry from Milwaukee's ultimate hype man, Bobby Portis Jr. This dude doesn't just play basketball, he electrifies it. With every rebound, every bucket, and those signature wide-eyed stares that make defenders question their life choices, Bobby brings a fire that turns the entire arena into a madhouse. You don't just watch him, you feel him. But before he became a fan favorite, before he was an NBA champion, before he had the city screaming his name like he was a mayor, Bobby was just a hungry kid from Little Rock, Arkansas, dominating high school courts and snatching the 2013 Arkansas Mr. Basketball Award like it was his birthright. This is the story of how a fierce competitor with an unstoppable motor became the soul of Milwaukee basketball, loved by his team, worshipped by fans, and feared by anyone standing in his way. Little Rock, Arkansas, February 10, 1995. While the rest of the country was watching Michael Jordan's comeback with the Bulls, Arkansas was busy welcoming a future champion of its own. Bobby Portis Jr. entered the world with fists clenched, ready to fight for his place, a trait that would define his entire journey. In a single-parent household where dinner wasn't guaranteed, but love certainly was, Bobby watched his mother, Tina Edwards, clock in multiple jobs with the same determination he'd later show on the hardwood, working endless shifts to support Bobby and his three young brothers. Tina didn't just raise a basketball player, she engineered the blueprint for Bobby's now famous work ethic. As Bobby would say years later, "My mom didn't raise no soft kid."
Where I grew up is poverty town, not many people make it from where I'm from. One of the things my mom used to say all the time as a kid, if you don't work, you don't eat. You know, my mom was a go-getter. She had 4 kids, she worked tirelessly to take care of us. My mom was everything. All I ever did was grind. And the grinding brings you to USA basketball, and the grind brings you to madhouse. Definitely blessed and fortunate to be in this position, something that I don't take lightly.
Basketball wasn't just a sport for Bobby, it was his second home, and at Little Rock Hall High School, he made sure everyone knew whose house it was. By his junior and senior years, he wasn't just playing well, he was flat out dominating. At 6'10", with a motor that never quit and a stare that could probably make defenders forget their playbook, Portis led the Warriors to back-to-back state championships in 2011 and 2012. He played like he was allergic to losing, and Arkansas took notice. Remember that game against rival North Little Rock? 28 points, 16 rebounds, and a block in the final seconds that sent the crowd into a frenzy. The local paper called it the Portis Show, and they weren't wrong. By the time his high school career wrapped up, he had racked up a 2013 Arkansas Mr. Basketball Award, a McDonald's All-American selection, and the status of one of the top power forwards in the nation. Portis wasn't just collecting accolades, he was cementing his place as a local legend. But it wasn't just his game that made him special. Little Rock and Arkansas as a whole loved him because he embodied their grit. In a state that takes its basketball seriously, he embodied the hard-working values of Arkansas, creating a legacy that inspired young players throughout the region. With offers from some of the biggest basketball programs in the country, Bobby had every reason to leave Arkansas behind, but instead, he did something rare in modern basketball. He stayed home. "Why not Arkansas?" he said. "This is where I'm from. I want to bring the program back to where it's supposed to be."
Bobby was definitely one of the most driven kids on the team to reach a goal. And then it just dawned on me one day to really tap in to see what Bobby's made of, and I asked him a question, and he says, "Coach, I want to play in the NBA one day."
And from the moment he stepped on the floor for the Razorbacks, he meant it. As a freshman, he wasted no time proving why he was a top recruit, averaging 12.3 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks per game, quickly becoming one of SEC's best young players. His ability to run the floor, rebound, and score inside and out made him a versatile threat. But he wasn't satisfied. By his sophomore season, 2014-15, Portis went from solid young talent to certified beast mode. He cranked up his numbers to 17.5 points and 8.9 rebounds per game, shooting an efficient 53.6% from the field. More importantly, he put Arkansas basketball back on the map, leading them to their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2008. His reward? A 2015 SEC Player of the Year title, making him the first Razorback to win it since Corliss Williamson in 1995. At that point, it was clear Bobby had outgrown the college level. It was time for the NBA. On June 25, 2015, Bobby Portis' NBA dream became reality when the Chicago Bulls selected him with the 22nd overall pick. Dream come true? Absolutely. But easy? Not even close. The Bulls already had a stacked front court with Paul Gasol, Taj Gibson, and Joakim Noah, meaning Portis had to fight for minutes. For a young man used to being the centerpiece, he was suddenly a spare part, and when he did get on the court, his intensity sometimes worked against him. His relentless energy was both an asset and a challenge. He played with so much passion that it occasionally led to emotional outbursts and on-court clashes. The most infamous moment of his early career came in 2017, when he got into a heated altercation with teammate Nikola Mirotic during practice, resulting in Portis punching Mirotic and fracturing his face. Portis was suspended for 8 games, and the incident only added to his reputation as a fiery, no-nonsense competitor. The media ate it up. The headlines were brutal. Some even questioned if Bobby was too intense to last in the league. But despite the controversy, Portis continued to show flashes of his potential. He put up solid numbers off the bench and proved he could be an efficient scorer and rebounder. But as the Bulls moved toward a rebuild, Bobby's future in Chicago became unclear. Over the next few years, he bounced around the league, playing for 3 different teams in 5 seasons: Washington, New York. Bobby was becoming basketball's favorite nomad. The potential was always there, but he hadn't found the right fit, a team that got him, a city that embraced him. Then came the call, the one that changed everything. The Milwaukee Bucks, fresh off yet another disappointing playoff exit, offered Bobby Portis a 2-year deal before the 2020-21 season. For most, it was just another contract. For Bobby, it was the shot. The moment to prove he wasn't just another journeyman, bouncing around the league. He was a champion in waiting. Milwaukee needed toughness, depth, and scoring off the bench, and Portis, he fit that mold like a glove. But what nobody, not the front office, not the coaches, not even Bobby himself, saw coming was how fast and deeply he would connect with the Milwaukee fan base. It was basketball love at first sight. Portis didn't just fit in, he took over. He became an instant spark plug, bringing relentless energy, hustle, and efficient scoring to the second unit. Despite not being a starter, his impact was undeniable. Night after night, he battled for rebounds, knocked down clutch shots, and injected life into the team whenever he stepped on the floor. The Bucks had their stars, Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Jrue Holiday, but Portis brought something else: unfiltered, unrelenting energy. Every time he checked in, the game's intensity shifted. You could see it in his hustle, you could feel it in his chest-pounding celebrations, and of course, you could definitely see it in those legendary crazy eyes. But Bobby wasn't just put on a show, he was built for this moment. When the 2021 playoffs arrived, Portis flipped the switch from high-energy role player to game changer. With the Bucks grinding through a tough postseason, his hustle became contagious. One of the biggest moments came in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Atlanta Hawks, when he stepped up as a starter for an injured Giannis in Game 5. delivering 22 points and 8 rebounds to help the Bucks take control of the series. He played like a man possessed, running the floor, muscling through defenders, and pumping up the crowd like it was a WWE match. But his most legendary moment came in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. With the Bucks on the brink of their first championship in 50 years, Portis delivered on the biggest stage. He dropped 16 points off the bench, made key defensive plays, and fired up the Milwaukee crowd with his infectious energy, from chest-pounding celebrations to his trademark intense stare after big plays. By the time the final buzzer sounded, Fiserv Forum was rocking with Bobby, Bobby chants, cementing his status as a fan favorite forever. Portis wasn't just another player passing through Milwaukee. He became one of them. His blue-collar mentality and relentless work ethic fit the city's identity. He embraced the grind, driving for loose balls, getting physical, doing the dirty work, in a city that prides itself on resilience, on showing up every day without complaint, on doing the unglamorous work that makes success possible. Bobby Portis became their hardwood ambassador. He didn't need to be the most skilled. He didn't need to drop 30 a night. He just needed to play his role better than anyone else, and that's exactly what he did. Today, Bobby Portis isn't just a key piece of Milwaukee's championship core. He's a veteran leader for a team that's still chasing rings. His role keeps evolving, but his impact still undeniable. From Arkansas high school phenomenon to NBA champion, Bobby Portis has carved out his own lane in basketball. He isn't a household name like LeBron or Giannis, but if you ask any Bucks fan, they'll tell you he's just as important in his own way. If there's one thing to take from Bobby's journey, it's this: work hard, stay passionate, and make your presence felt every time you step on the court. You don't need to be the best at everything. Just be the best at what you do. That's how you get noticed, make an impact, and build a legacy. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more NBA content that goes beyond the highlights, and drop a comment on which player's journey you want to see next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.